Hello! 4 months later, here I am. I'm back. The studio looks exactly the same, but I'm in a new country, I'm in a new house. It's the same old me, same old retro future, but hopefully some really epic, cool new content. And to start off with, let's take a look at something unbelievably cool and never showcased before on YouTube, a Nintendo 3DS Kiosk, which would have been in stores around the world at the time that the 3DS was selling. Now, this thing is absolutely epic. Seriously, very, very cool. It needs quite a lot of work. It's unwieldy, so we're gonna have to put something underneath it because I think it's actually missing a few parts. I found some reference images on Google, and I think there's a base that mine didn't come with. But without any further ado, let's see what this thing is about, why it's got a bunch of different names all over it, and let's see if we can get this thing working. God, this thing weighs an absolute ton. Look at that. The Nintendo 3DS Kiosk. It's so big, there's absolutely no way it's going to fit in a camera. I'm going to have to go and get another camera. Okay, I've got another camera set up over here. This thing is just absolutely enormous, and I'm really conscious about the fact that it's scratching my desk, which is brand new. I bought it on Amazon. It was £40. I don't know why I told you that. Underneath this thing is 2 Allen key screws that are just sticking out. And I bought some little adhesive feet, and I'm just looking now, and I don't think they're even still going to be tall enough to clear those Allen key screws. But that is the first thing that we shall do to this thing so that we can actually set it down. And then I want to show you all of the little gadgets and gizmos that this thing has to offer. So let's go and get those feet and see if we can make this thing a little bit more presentable. Here we go. One of them there. Just like that. This is going really well. Great content, great content. Boom. That is a job well done. Right, moment of truth. Is this any better? Ooh. Much better. Hooray. Okay, we've now got something that does not scratch the living crap out of every surface it sits on. Right, let's go through all of this because honestly, it's an absolute mess. If I just show you real quick in the top camera, the amount of things going on inside here, it is just absolutely frightening. So let's see if we can make sense of it. It weighs a ton. It weighs an absolute ton. So I bought this thing from an auction in Japan, and that is weird because all of the writing on the front is actually German, so I've got no idea why it made it into Japan. Another very weird thing about it is you'll see on the side here it says new Nintendo 3DS, but then along the top it says Nintendo 3DS, and then the sign in the middle is all about the Nintendo 3DS XL. The new Nintendo 3DS XL, it came with, for some reason, a blue Nintendo 3DS. And then it decided to go to the new Nintendo 3DS, and then the new Nintendo 3DS XL. So this thing has been modified over the years. And the really cool thing is inside it, if I can show you here, everything is actually replaceable. So you can see there's some bolts down the side there, and then that would allow you to take out that little decal in the side. And I'm sure you can see as well the strip of LEDs, which we need to see if they work. If not, I've bought some replacements, but I'm hoping that this is going to work. So I want to get this thing fully operational by the end of this video. I need to sort out the socket end, the plug. It's not the right thing for my country. This contraption, on all of the references I've found on Google, is made of metal, and my one is made of this sort of braided cord. So I'm not sure what has happened there over the years. And there is some sort of like milled little aluminium thing as well. Presumably, this does not just attach to a DS because I don't see where that would happen. I think there's meant to be some sort of big bracket thing that holds this DS in place, and then that would sit in there. Because the other thing I find really bizarre about this is this hole here for the Nintendo DS is far bigger than the Nintendo 3DS. And the Nintendo 3DS, the new Nintendo 3DS XL doesn't even fit in it. So I'm fairly certain this is for the sort of bracket that Nintendo DS would have sat in. And then of course you've also got the ability to charge it using the same cable that would do the LEDs. And that is all done by this really bizarre sort of splitter contraption that is inside here. You can see there's a small little box. If I can take it out, in fact, let's just try and take it all out. There's a Nintendo Wii power brick here, which is velcroed into the back as well. And then obviously we've got the LEDs. We can actually try and disconnect those so we don't break anything. And we can pull this all over to the side. We see if we can undo the Nintendo power brick for the 3DS. And then we still have a mumbo jumbo of a bunch of stuff. This is really confusing me now. Okay, what have I signed myself up for? Right, what we need to do is go and get my other Wii power brick and check if the voltage of a foreign Wii power brick is the same as a British one. If it is, all I've got to do is replace the end of this plug. Okay, here we go. 230 to 50 hertz, 12 volt, 3.7 amps. So it's absolutely identical, which is fantastic because I don't really want to do a bunch of like chopping up of this thing. And if I can just replace this little end, it won't feel like I've actually done a bunch of modifying to this thing, which is exactly what I want, to keep it as original as possible. Okay, so what we can do is start sitting all of the stuff back inside the kiosk. And hopefully this time we can make it a bit more ordered, because before the door would hardly shut. So this big Wii power brick is going to go right here, like that. Okay, and then this little thing sits down here. This little splitter is quite unique. It's also sort of falling apart, which is definitely safe. Okay, we'll set that down, and then we've got to run this little cable bung thing through there, which seems to only want to go one way. There we go. Okay, and we can connect up the LEDs again, like this, like that rather. No, like this. No, like that. And then we've got an earthing cable, which is all fine. That is because this kiosk is actually made of metal. And then we have the charger for the Nintendo DS. So we can go ahead and plug that back into there. I've never seen anything like that, and I'm really glad that we can still use this, because I don't think a British adapter would have fit in here. Maybe this one won't either. There we go. Okay, so then this we'll have to just sort of push into there. There we go. Perfect. We can stash all of that in there. Go on. What we can do is close this door. Now this door is really quite janky, but I'm sure it's probably been a little bit bent over the years. That Allen key up there looks a bit loose. Maybe we should tighten that. Right, it's beginning to look a lot more like a thing. So the key, luckily mine came with a key because I joined a forum for kiosks on Facebook and someone was missing their key. This key works in a kind of cool way. So this little thing plugs into there, like that, and then you turn it and it like pops out this little axle thing, this little tube, I don't know really what to call that, and then it goes into there. And then when you press it in, that is it locked, and then obviously you've got your key. So now we've got a couple of things left to do. We've got to change this plug end, and then we've got to set the Nintendo DS down inside. Let's go ahead and just do that now. Okay, one more thing left to do. So I searched high and low for a replacement socket in B&Q and I couldn't find one. So we're gonna have to just nick one from here and hopefully it won't mind. I didn't ask its permission though, which is probably quite bad. Is it all right if I use your socket end? Seems that my 4 months off has made me go mental. Basically a qualified electrician. Okay, so I've stripped the ends of these wires now, so we can actually get to some of the copper underneath. And I shall twiddle the ends around. And we can hopefully now follow this little schematic that I found on this website called Google, which is a really great search engine. You should check it out. Not sponsored, although kind of owned by. Boom. That right there looks like a bit of a socket. So the final thing to put on is this part. That went on well. Okay. Oh. The slight issue is that the socket is all the way over there and the extension cable now doesn't have an end on it. Okay, here we go. Moment of truth. I'm now going to turn on the socket. Lights. Slightly lackluster. But, I mean, actually, no, that is kind of cool, isn't it? That is kind of cool. And let's see, look, the DS is charging. You can see the little orange LED right there. And it's on. Oh my goodness me. Okay. This is exciting. Right. I very much doubt there's going to be any exclusive software on here. No, there's not. Although, I wonder if it's got an SD card. You guys can't even see me. So, the 3DS Kiosk is now in operation. It works. It has feet underneath that can stand up on its own now. It's a lot more solid than it was before. We've got the right connector so I can actually plug it in and have the LEDs working and charge the 3DS. The 3DS is in a little bit of a sorry state. I'm going to have to replace this analog stick, so I'll get one of those ordered. But for now, let's see. Does this thing have... It has an SD card, and if this really was a kiosk in stores back in the day, is there a chance that there's going to be some really cool photos? And this thing is in German, by the way, or something. It's in Dutch. I don't know what that is. E-R-T-E. It's in German. It's in German. Okay, here we go. So this is definitely in German. Let's go over to the camera and see if there's any photos stored inside of this thing from back in the day in stores. Wait, photos? There is! There's literally photos in here from back in the day. Okay, let's go through them and hope that there's nothing on here creepy. Okay, a couple just random pictures. There's a person's face. These look like screenshots of a game. Okay, that is very scary. That's the augmented reality game. It looks like someone's just been taking some screenshots. Ooh, look at that. That's interesting. That right there is the shop that this thing would have been sat in. Because there's some sort of like point of display signs and then there's an exit sign there as well. That's really, really cool. I'll see if I can get some of these off of the DS as well to actually put... Oh my days. Oh my days. This literally couldn't have gone any better than I thought. Look at this. Look at this! No way! There was originally a Nintendo 2DS inside of here. And there you have it. You can actually see the bracket. Oh my goodness me. And there's someone taking a photo of the Nintendo 3DS part. Oh man. I could literally not have wished for a better picture. Okay, that's a bit creepy. Small child. We don't want that. Look at that. That is a photo of the game store. Look at that. That is a photo of the game store. And there's a photo here of a small child. I'm going to cover up their face. But look, you can see they're advertising the Xbox 360 in the background. Oh my days. This is just unbelievable. I cannot have hoped for a better outcome. There's another photo of a guy just walking through the store. This is absolutely unbelievable. Look, there's some more photos of the store as well. Seriously, how amazing is that? I tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all of these photos off And I'll put them all up as a slideshow at the end of this video. But that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the Nintendo 3DS Kiosk. What an absolute gem. Seriously, very, very cool item. I cannot wait to have it out on display. I paid several £100s for it, so I'm really relieved that the thing works. An absolutely mesmerizing device to look at. And the thing that I find just so cool about it, without trying to go all deep and stuff, is the fact that this very unit is possibly going to be the first time someone ever played on a Nintendo DS, and that then made a bunch of memories for them for the rest of their life, all from this thing right here. I've actually also got a Nintendo Switch Lite one, and also a Game Boy Advance e-reader one as well, and this one is faulty, so we're actually going to have to do a video on this at some point. If you enjoyed this one, make sure you subscribe and leave a comment letting me know what your thoughts were. And I've also got a massive 3DS Kiosk as well, which is 2-player. I need to do a full restoration on that. But for now, that has been the Retro Future. I'm back. I know it's a little bit of a mismatch of a video, but I'm still getting back into the swing of things. I hope you enjoyed nonetheless. I'll catch you all in the next one. Enjoy these pictures.